Part 29. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 281. After all, as the left Prime Minister of the Dragon Kingdom, Guojia was the leader of more than 10,000 people. He personally went to the imperial capital of the Wolf Kingdom, which naturally made Yuan Shao mistakenly think that he was going to discuss an alliance with Lu Buletin. Although the envoys of the Liang Kingdom have been in Luoyang, because Yuan Shao has been undecided about whether to form an alliance with the Liang Kingdom, his freedom has not been restricted. Therefore, he also heard about the fact that Guojia, the left Prime Minister of the Dragon Kingdom, went to the imperial capital of the Wolf Kingdom. Therefore, after receiving Yuan Shao's summons, the Liang state envoy gave Yuan Shao new persuasion on this matter. He said to Yuan Shao, "Your Majesty, Guojia holds an important position in the Dragon Kingdom. He went to the Wolf Kingdom's imperial capital in person. He must have something very important to discuss with Lu Buletin. And this matter must be an alliance. Since Lu Buletin and Feng if Guojia and Wei state formed an alliance to fight against the Dragon state together, then he should have Guojia executed, or at least imprisoned. But now that Guojia is still free to enter and leave the Wolf Kingdom Palace, this must mean that Lu Buletin has agreed to form an alliance with Lu Feng. So first of all, Lu Buletin must have torn up the alliance with your country. The Dragon Kingdom's army may use the Wolf Kingdom's territory to break through the defense line and attack your country at any time. When the time comes, your country will be attacked by the Wolf Kingdom and the Dragon Kingdom. It will be difficult to develop. Yuan Shao was originally afraid that the alliance between the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom would endanger the Feng Kingdom. Now when he heard the words of the Liang Kingdom's envoy, he couldn't sit still anymore and immediately decided to form an alliance with the Liang Kingdom. However, Tianfeng and Zheshao still opposed the alliance with Liang. Zheshao said to Yuan Shao, "Your Majesty cannot attack the Wolf Kingdom together with the Liang Kingdom. Although Guojia appeared in the Wolf Kingdom's capital, there is currently no sign of the Wolf Kingdom sending troops to attack our country. This may all be just a misunderstanding. Moreover, the Wolf Kingdom Prime Minister Chen Gong is also a resourceful person. He will definitely be able to see the current situation clearly and will not let Lu Buletin form an alliance with Lu." However, Yuan Shao was worried about the Wolf Kingdom and the Dragon Kingdom joining forces to attack his country, and on the other hand he wanted to get the Bingzhou Wolf Cavalry. So he didn't listen to Zhu's advice. Instead, he said, "Gong, he is usually very resourceful, why are he so confused today? If Lu Buletin really formed an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom, he would naturally not publicize it. He must be secretly discussing the details. How could we see it? Wait until he really forms an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom. When the army of the Dragon Kingdom comes to attack, everything will be too late." Tianfeng continued to persuade Your Majesty, "No, maybe this is just Guojia's plan. He didn't say anything to Lu Buletin in Jinyang, but as long as he appears in Jinyang, Your Majesty will definitely think that they have formed an alliance. In this way, as long as our army forms an alliance with the Liang Kingdom to attack the Wolf Kingdom, it will play into Guojia's plan, and he can logically join forces with the Wolf Kingdom to attack our country." However, even if Yuan Shao still ignored Zhu Shao and Tianfeng's earnest advice and decided to form an alliance with Liang Kingdom regardless of all odds. Finally, when Tianfeng and Zhu Shao were still waiting for further persuasion, Yuan Shao suddenly remembered that Tianfeng had compared him with Lu Buletin not long ago. He suddenly became angry and said to them, "I have made up my mind, and there is no need to persuade me anymore. In addition, you guys will do it later. Just go back and pack your things, and go and guard Yanzhou for me. Don't stay in Luoyang, I'll get annoyed when I see you." As Tianfeng and Zheshao were sent to Yanzhou by Yuan Shao, no one could stop Liang and Feng from forming an alliance. Subsequently, the two countries formally formed an alliance and formed a coalition of 100,000 troops. They marched north from the junction of Jingzhiyin and Hungnong County and directly attacked Hedong County. As early as Chen Gong failed to persuade Lu Buledin to get rid of Guoxia, he realized that the Feng Kingdom would inevitably lose its composure and would most likely attack the Wolf Kingdom, so he asked Lu Buledin to deploy heavy defense forces in Hedong County. However, even so, the defenders of Hedong County faced the fierce attack of the Ziliang cavalry, coupled with the command of Yuan Shao's generals such as Yan Liang and Wenzhou. They were still unable to stop the two coalition forces and were retreating steadily. Faced with such a decline, Lu Buledin finally couldn't sit still. He took the initiative to invite Guoxia, the left prime minister of the Dragon Kingdom, in the court, hoping to discuss an alliance with him. However, compared to the situation a few days ago when Guoxia proposed an alliance and Lu Buledin was hesitant, at this time Lu Buledin, who had been losing consecutive battles in the face of the joint attack of Liang State and Feng State, was very eager to use the troops of Long State to resist the two countries' coalition forces. So Lu Buledin took the initiative and said, "Mr. Feng Xiao, you asked the Dragon Kingdom to propose an alliance with the Wolf Kingdom before. At that time, you were hesitant because you were worried about the alliance with the Feng Kingdom and the Wei Kingdom. But now Yuan Shao is the first to violate the agreement and join forces with the Liang Kingdom to attack our Wolf Kingdom, whose wolf ambition has made it clear to me that he is not suitable as an ally. Therefore, I have made up my mind to agree to your husband's suggestion and become an ally with the Dragon Kingdom, and ask the Dragon Emperor to send troops to help me repel Yuan Shao Ma Teng's coalition, and then our two countries will conquer the world together." At this time, Lu Buledin had completely lost the pride of a heroic emperor, and expressed his feelings to Guoxia in a consultative tone. But in the face of Lu Buledin's request, Guoxia also changed his attitude. Not only was he no longer eager to form an alliance with the Wolf Kingdom, but he changed the topic and chatted with Lu Buledin about the Dragon Emperor's concubine. Guoxia said to La 1/4 Buledin, "Your Majesty, if I say that the Dragon Emperor is a wise king who has never been seen in eternity, what do you think?" At this time, La 1/4 Buledin wanted to keep the thigh of the Dragon Kingdom, so he naturally praised Lu Feng. When he saw Guoxia asking him, he said, "The Dragon Emperor is naturally a wise king. He is one of the best today in terms of literature, military strategy, talent, and poetry. Moreover, he has a flexible mind and has a lot of ideas on how to develop the country's economy. Not to mention the Ming Jun who has never been seen in ancient times, it is not an exaggeration to say that he is the emperor of the ages." Guoxia saw that Lu Buledin had his own way, so he smiled and said, "Since my lord has such ability, they say that a hero deserves to be worthy of him. Beauty, but now our Dragon Kingdom only has one queen and two concubines. Your Majesty, do you think there are a few?" Although Lu Buledin didn't know why Guoxia asked him this topic, he still answered bravely, "It is indeed a few. With the Dragon Emperor's literary and military skills, not to mention 3,000 harems, but at least 3 wives and 4 concubines is not an exaggeration." Guoxia continued to smile and said, "His Majesty the Wolf Emperor also thinks so, it's really great. I won't hide it. Because the Dragon Emperor has too few concubines and has no heirs, we, the ministers and officials of the Dragon Kingdom, are very anxious." Guoxia suddenly changed the subject as he spoke, looking at Lu Buledin with a puzzled face, and said to him, "I'm here. I heard that His Majesty the Wolf Emperor has a princess named Lu Linky. She is now in her prime years and is not yet married. Since your Majesty believes that my lord is the only emperor of all time, and your princess must be as beautiful as a flower, such a talented man and a beautiful woman are a match made in heaven. If the two families are through marriage, the alliance between us will surely become stronger, and our lord will wholeheartedly help the Wolf Kingdom to repel its powerful enemies. 3 Kingdoms, I have a job transfer palace." Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 282. Guoxia had been praising Lu Feng's wisdom and martial arts. Although Lu Buledin was impatient, in order to form an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom and use Lu Feng's power to defeat the armies of Yuan Shao and Ma Teng, he had to praise Lu Feng together with Guoxia. Then Guojia changed the subject and talked about Lu Feng's queen and concubines. This already made Lu Buledin confused, but he was still able to agree. But in the end, Guojia actually asked Lu Buledin to marry his daughter to Lu Feng as a political victim in exchange for the alliance and help of the Dragon Kingdom. Lu Buledin could no longer bear it. Although Lu Buledin himself is capricious and cruel to his allies and old masters, he cares very much about his family, especially his wife and daughter, who can be said to be his enemies. This can be seen from the fact that Chen Gong advised Lu Buledin several times to stay away from Diao Chen, but he remained unmoved. Even when he was besieged by Cao and Liu Bei in Xiapai, he would rather surrender than leave Diao Chen and his wife and daughter far away to break out of the siege. Know everything. Of course, Guojia does not know these historical facts, and what he is saying now is just his own thoughts. So when Lu Buledin heard Guojia's request to form an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom at the expense of his daughter Lu Linqi's marriage, there was a sudden anger in his heart, and the murderous intent in his eyes was instantly revealed. Not only was Lu Buledin motivated to kill, but all the officials in the Wolf Kingdom were also furious. They were worried about the humiliation of their ministers and their death. Guojia's words to Lu Buledin were tantamount to a humiliation. There were even several generals who couldn't hold it any longer. They walked out from their positions and surrounded Guojia. They only waited for Lu Buledin's order to take him down. If an ordinary person were to face the murderous intent of a peerless general like Lu Buledin, who held countless dead souls in his hands, he would probably pee his pants even if he was not too frightened to stand up. But Guojia didn't care. He even raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and looked up at Lu Buledin with eyes full of anger. Facing Guojia's fearless gaze, Lu Buledin was secretly surprised even though he was angry. He really didn't expect that a young scholar could withstand the murderous intention in him and look at him for so long without changing his expression. After a while, seeing the anger on Lu Buledin's face gradually diminishing, Guojia finally said calmly, "Your Majesty, the Wolf Emperor, don't think that because you are in the Wolf Kingdom, you will be afraid of your authority. I hope you know that now our Dragon Kingdom, in fact, there is no need to cooperate with the Wolf Kingdom. Since Yuan Shao has already broken up with the Wolf Kingdom and cooperated with the Liang Kingdom to attack the Wolf Kingdom, this at least shows that he no longer cares about the alliance between the Feng Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom, as well as the defense in name only. The defense line of the Dragon Kingdom has been reduced. In other words, the Dragon Kingdom can now take advantage of the coalition forces of the Liang Kingdom and the Feng Kingdom to attack the Wolf Kingdom, and send our Dragon Kingdom Chinese General Zhao Yun from Yuzhou to lead an army to fight against the Feng Kingdom and the Liang Kingdom. The country joins forces to attack the Wolf Kingdom. I believe that rather than the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom joining forces to resist the Feng Kingdom and the Liang Kingdom, they must hope that our Dragon Kingdom can work with them to add insult to injury to destroy the Wolf Kingdom, right? The Bingzhou army of the Wolf Kingdom is indeed powerful, and the Bingzhou Wolf Cavalry is also the master of kings, but in the face of the joint attack of the three empires, what are your chances of winning, or how long can you last? After hearing Guojia's words, Lu Buledin became more and more angry. He took several deep breaths to calm down his anger, and then said with a gloomy face, "Are you threatening me?" Guojia couldn't help but smile when he saw that Lu Buledin was obviously angry, but still suppressed his angry expression. "Don't dare." After these two words were spoken, Guojia stopped speaking and just stood quietly aside, looking at Lu Buledin. As Guojia and Lu Buledin shut up one after another, the palace of the Wolf Kingdom instantly became quiet, and even a pin dropping on the ground could be clearly heard. Just when the atmosphere was gradually solidifying, Chen Gong, who had previously opposed the alliance with the Dragon Kingdom, stood up and came to Lu Buledin's rescue. "Your Majesty, I agree with Mr. Guo's statement and agree to marry with the Dragon Kingdom as an alliance." Lu Buledin was naturally shocked by Chen Gong's proposal. After all, he wanted to form an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom from the beginning. At that time, it was Guojie who begged him to form an alliance and there was no need for marriage, but Chen Gong was opposed to it. Now that Guojie asked for a marriage to form an alliance, Chen Gong actually stood up and agreed. Naturally, Lu Buletin didn't know the reason. Seeing the confusion on Lu Buletin's face, Chen Gong hurriedly stepped forward and whispered in Lu Buletin's ear, "Your Majesty, it is already difficult for our country to resist the coalition forces of Liang and Feng. If you offend the Long Kingdom because of this, then it is true that 3 families jointly attacked our country. I am afraid that our country will really perish. Now that the matter has come to this, the only solution for now is to form an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom and use the power of the Dragon Kingdom to solve the crisis. There is no other way." Lu Buletin, after hearing what Chen Gong said, although he was unwilling to accept it, he had no other choice but to grit his teeth and agree to Guojie's suggestion. He said to Guojie, "I was wrong just now. Mr. Feng Xiao also proposed the marriage in order to make the alliance between our 2 countries more stable. I was also confused for a while, so I didn't agree at the first time. Fortunately, Prime Minister Chen Gong gave a warning, otherwise you will almost miss the important event. Now that everything has been made clear, I still need to trouble my husband to return to the Dragon Kingdom to report the matter to the Dragon Emperor, and set a date for the wedding as soon as possible. I will send someone to escort Ling in a few days." Qi went to the Dragon Kingdom to marry the Dragon Emperor. Guojie's main purpose was to join forces with the Wolf Kingdom to kill the Feng Kingdom, so he had no intention of making things difficult for Lu Bu. Seeing that Lu Buletin had relented, he would naturally stop making things difficult for Lu Buletin. So Guojie cupped his hands and said, "In that case, I'll take my leave and go back first. Don't worry, Wolf Emperor. As long as your country marries the Dragon Kingdom, the affairs of the Wolf Kingdom will be the affairs of our Dragon Kingdom. Our Lord will definitely send troops to help the wolf as soon as possible. The country will kill the Feng Kingdom." After Guojie finished speaking, he walked out of the Wolf Kingdom palace, then quickly came outside the city and rode the golden peng back to the Dragon Kingdom. At the same time, Lu Buletin found Lu Linqi, told her the matter in person, and ordered Wei Su, one of the 8 best generals of the Wolf Kingdom, to escort Lu Linqi to the Dragon Kingdom. After Guojie returned to Long Kingdom, he immediately found Lu Feng and said that he had completed the task and successfully helped Lu Feng marry Lu Linqi. Lu Feng was actually not at ease about Guojie going to the Wolf country alone, so after Guojie came back, he immediately went to greet her. However, when he heard about the marriage, Lu Feng was speechless for a while. But after the joke, Guojie suggested that Lu Feng send the Red Blood Dragon riders to meet Lu Linqi at the border between the 2 countries, and Lu Feng naturally agreed. As a result, Wei Su's escort team was attacked by Feng Kingdom assassins when they were about to enter the border of the Dragon Kingdom. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 283. The appearance of these assassins obviously means that the remaining countries headed by Feng Kingdom realize that once the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom join forces, their military power will be difficult to resist, so they want to destroy the marriage between the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom. In fact, the marriage between the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom not only made the Feng Kingdom feel the crisis, but also exceeded the Wei Kingdom's expectations. Not long after the news reached Wei, both Wei Emperor Cao and Wei Prime Minister 11's He felt the crisis. So when the 2 were discussing countermeasures, 11's He said to Cao, "Your Majesty, the defense line formed by our country, Feng Kingdom and Wolf Kingdom last year to defend the Dragon Kingdom will not be long before it completely collapses." Cao listened. 11's He also nodded and said yes. Lu Feng sent Guojie, the left Prime Minister of the Dragon Kingdom, to the Wolf Kingdom's imperial capital so blatantly, it must be to confuse the Feng Kingdom. But I didn't expect that this idiot Yuan Shao would be so brainless. If we unite with Ma Teng from the Liang Kingdom to attack the Wolf Kingdom, this will be enough to collapse our 3 defense lines. 11's He continued. If only the Feng Kingdom unites with the Liang Kingdom to attack the Wolf Kingdom, we only need to persuade Ma Teng to replace Lu Buletin after the event is completed. If the defense line is supplemented, this defense line can still hold up. But when Feng state attacks, the Wolf state cannot resist it, and instead promotes the marriage and alliance between the Wolf state and the Dragon state. In this way, the Liang state and the Feng state will inevitably be unable to attack. If we go to the Wolf Kingdom, this line of defense will no longer be able to be completed. After hearing 11's He's analysis, Cao said angrily, Yuan Ben Chui Euro is fierce and cowardly, and he is always scheming. He does great things without sacrificing his own life. Forgetting life for a small gain is really not a hero. Just after Cao finished evaluating Yuan Shao, 11's He seemed to suddenly remember something and said to Cao, Your Majesty, who is the commander of Lu Feng's Dragon City Cavalry? Do you remember? After hearing 11's He's words, Cao was shocked and said the commander-in-chief of the Dragon City Cavalry is not the eldest son of Ma Teng of the Liang Kingdom, Ma Chao and Ma Menqi. It was Lu Feng who was responsible for the rebellion in Liangzhou back then. The supervisors put down Ma Teng, who was forced to rebel against the imperial court at that time. In the end, it was Lu Feng who interceded with Emperor Ling, who not only absolved Ma Teng of his crime, but also allowed him to continue to guard Ziliang. Ma Chao, Ma Teng's son, was killed by Lu Feng after being captured alive. He admired Lu Feng deeply, so he became his disciple and followed Lu Feng all the time. What He means is that Ma Teng actually intended to turn Yuan Shao and Lu Buletin into enemies, just to repay Lu Feng. 11. He nodded and said, This is just my guess, and it's just that Ma Teng's strategy is not enough to think of such a plan to drive away tigers and wolves. I think that maybe Long Kingdom and Liang Kingdom have secretly formed an alliance, and Guojie went on an envoy the Wolf Kingdom. Ma Teng's alliance with Yuan Shao may all be Lu Feng's plan. Cao was shocked when he heard 11's He's guess, and the more he thought about it, the more likely it was, so he hurriedly asked, If this is the case, what should we do? 11G thought for a while and then said, For the current plan, it is obviously impossible for our country to send troops to help Yuan Shao. This is tantamount to seeking death. In addition, if the Liang Kingdom and the Long Kingdom really form an alliance secretly, then naturally we cannot unite with the Liang Kingdom, so there is only one Shu Kingdom left. The current plan is to ask Your Majesty to send people to Yizhu as soon as possible to form an alliance with the Emperor of Shu Liu Bei, and the 2 countries will join forces to annex the Wu Kingdom. Our country's current capital city Jianyi was snatched from Sun Jian's hands. After all, Sun Jian's death has a lot to do with our country. Sun Ce is obviously not a fool, and he can naturally think of the conspiracy. Therefore, it is naturally impossible for Sun Ce to have anything to do with our country. Form an alliance. In this case, we can only unite with Shu to destroy Wu first, carve up Wu's territory and military strength to enhance our country's strength, and then find a way to compete with Dragon, Wolf, and Liang. Cao listened. After learning 11's He's plan, he naturally sent people to implement it immediately. At the same time, on the border between the Wolf Kingdom and the Dragon Kingdom, the assassins of the Feng Kingdom were fighting to the death with the bride-to-be team from the Wolf Kingdom. Although Wei Su, the leader of the Wolf Kingdom's wedding party, was one of Lu Buletin's 8 strong generals, he was nothing special and was a bit greedy for life. He was reused by Lu Buletin mostly because he was related to Lu Bu. The assassins sent by Feng State were all soldiers raised by the Yuan family for many years. Each one of them was brave and fearless of death. They killed most of the people in the escorting team in an instant, and even Wei Su was injured. Fortunately, although Lu Linqi is a woman, as the daughter of Lu Buletin, she also inherited her father's martial arts, and also learned a lot of martial arts from Lu Buletin when she was a child. Because of this, they were not all wiped out. Fortunately, just when Wei Su, Lu Linqi and others could no longer hold on, the Red Blood Dragon riders arrived in time. Seeing that the wedding party from the Wolf Kingdom had been almost completely wiped out, with only Wei Su and Lu Linqi struggling to support themselves, and Wei Su also suffered several stab wounds, the Red Blood Dragon rider was immediately furious. Because they were too close to Lu Linqi at this moment, they did not dare to fire arrows for fear of accidentally injuring the mistress, so they had to beat the horses harder to get there as quickly as possible. Fortunately, their war horses were also super war horses trained by trainers at the Goguryeo horse training farm. They were extremely fast and rushed to Lu Linqi's side in just a few breaths. 3,000 red-blooded dragon knights versus hundreds of Feng Kingdom assassins, this was a battle without any suspense. Although these assassins looked very fierce when facing Wei Su and Lu Linqi, they obviously did not pose much of a threat to the Red Blood Dragon riders. In the blink of an eye, the Red Blood Dragon riders killed all these assassins. Afterwards, 3,000 Red Blood Dragons, led by their commander, all dismounted and knelt down, and said to Lu Linqi, "The general arrived too late to save us. He deserves to die. Please punish the mistress." Wei Su was punished at this time. Shang was originally a little dissatisfied with the late arrival of this wedding team, but now seeing their strong combat power, neat movements, and armor, he knew that they were the Red Blood Dragon riders of Lu Feng's personal guards. So Wei Su suddenly had nothing to say. Although Lu Linqi was assassinated, she was not injured. Moreover, she was young and was very surprised by the bravery of the Red Blood Dragon riders, so naturally she would not blame them. Later, Lu Linqi and Wei Su, escorted by the Red Blood Dragon riders, successfully returned to the Xian capital city of the Dragon Kingdom. Lu Feng led all the officials of the Dragon Kingdom to line up outside the capital to greet Lu Linqi, and announced in front of all the officials, "From today on, I will make Lu Linqi, the princess of the Wolf Kingdom, the wolf concubine, and we will get married in 3 days." After hearing this, the officials said, he immediately knelt down to congratulate. After everyone returned to the city, Guoqia, the left prime minister of the Dragon Kingdom, was secretly meeting with Wei Su. The two talked in secret all night. When Wei Su left the next day, his eyes became very complicated. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 284. 3 days later, Dragon Emperor Lu Feng and Wolf Kingdom Princess Lu Linqi got married in Xindu city of Dragon Kingdom. Although Lu Feng had already married the Wanyan princesses Lu Xian, Cai Yan, and Diao Chen before, this was the first time he got married as the emperor after he ascended the throne. Therefore, the wedding day was very grand. Not only did all the officials come to court, but the people of the Dragon Kingdom were also very happy. Especially the people of Yuz, who were as excited as if they were celebrating the new year. Wu Emperor Sun Ce and Shu Emperor Liu Bei both sent people to send congratulatory gifts. As an ally of Lu Feng, although Ma Teng showed no reaction on the surface, he secretly sent people to the Dragon Kingdom to send congratulatory gifts to Lu Feng. Even Wei Emperor Cao, although he had fought against Lu Feng for many years, naturally admired Lu Feng's personality, brains, courage, and bravery, and naturally he would not lose his heart. After experiencing the hustle and bustle of the day, Lu Feng entered the harem, tired and drunk, and arrived at the bridal chamber of wolf concubine Lu Linqi. Even though Lu Feng had married 3 wives before, I only experienced it once, because Cai Yan and Diao Chen got married at the same time, so it was only for one night. The Wanyan princess Lu Xian concealed her identity at first, and waited until the death of Emperor Ling before she confided in Lu Feng and officially became Lu Feng's woman. But because Princess Wanyan has already married Lu Feng in name, she cannot hold a make-up wedding. Therefore, this was only Lu Feng's second bridal chamber, and it was his first time entering the bridal chamber as an emperor, so he did not have much experience. Fortunately, Lu Linqi grew up in Bingzhou, where the folk customs were strong and fierce. In addition, she practiced martial arts with Lu Buletin since she was a child, so she was not as reserved and introverted as other girls. This also made it less awkward between the two. After Lu Feng entered the bridal chamber, Lu Linqi acted like an ordinary newlywed wife, letting Lu Feng lie on the bed, rubbing his shoulders and beating his legs. She was not as delicate as a princess of a country at all. Lu Feng was very surprised by this, because although he had not had much contact with Lu Linqi in the past 3 days, he had asked Wei Su about Lu Linqi's character. In Wei Su's description, Lu Linqi, as Lu Buletin's daughter, has shown talent in martial arts since she was a child, and she also has good martial arts skills, so she has always been like a tomboy and has nothing to do with gentleness and virtuousness. Therefore, Lu Linqi's gentleness at this time made Lu Feng a little confused. He didn't know whether Lu Linqi was pretending to be gentle in front of him or Wei Su was lying. Perhaps feeling Lu Feng's reaction, Lu Linqi whispered, "Does your husband think that Linqi is an unruly and willful little princess who will never massage your legs like she does now?" Lu Feng's thoughts were guessed by Lu Linqi. Although he was a little embarrassed, he still said stiffly, "That's not the case, it's just because we are in a political marriage after all, so I didn't expect you to be so gentle and virtuous to me." Lu Linqi did smile quietly after hearing Lu Feng's words, then he said, "Although the marriage of your husband, Linqi, is more political, you don't know that Linqi has actually admired her husband for many years." After hearing what Lu Linqi said, Lu Feng was shocked and hurriedly asked, "You and I have never met before, how come you have admired me for so many years?" Lu Linqi smiled and said, "In fact, in Linqi's heart, her father is not only tall and mighty, but also highly skilled in martial arts. Linqi has always believed that he is invincible in the world. And the fact has always been like this. No matter they are Jiang or Han, as long as their father goes to the battlefield, no fierce general can escape his Fang Tian Huaji. Until that year, my husband, as the leader of the coalition of princes, crusade against Dongzhou, and at Hulao Pass she fought with her father for hundreds of rounds before. That was the first time Linqi saw someone able to withstand her father's attack for such a long time. Even until her husband defeated her father later, Linqi did not come back to her senses. In addition, Linqi has heard countless times about her husband sweeping across foreign tribes and winning battles with fewer people. Linqi knows that you are not only braver than her father, but also unrivaled in strategy and leading troops in war. From then on, Linqi became know what it means to be truly invincible. And later, with the publication of Longcheng Daily, Linqi discovered that her husband was not only so good at martial arts at a young age, but also so talented. Your poems also made Linqi unforgettable for a long time. From then on, after that, Linqi's heart will never be able to erase her husband's heroic figure." Lu Feng listened to Lu Linqi express his love in front of him like a little fangirl, and he was a little surprised and at the same time full of joy. Of pride. He smiled and said, "Originally, I thought you were going to do an assassination or something. So, I have prepared many punishment methods, but now it seems that they are not used." After hearing this, Lu Linqi said shyly, "Linqi is absolutely devoted to her husband, how could she assassinate him?" When her father told Linqi that she was going to marry her husband, Linqi jumped for joy. "My father was originally a little guilty of me, but when he saw me, not only did he was relieved to be so happy instead of being sad." Lu Feng looked at Lu Linqi and said with a smile, "Okay, I know what you mean. Since you are so affectionate to me, I will consider sparing your father. Life." Lu Linqi looked confused. "Aren't the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom in alliance? Why do you still want to kill my father?" Lu Feng saw Lu Linqi's confused look and just smiled without saying a word. These political intrigues, he did not Euro trademark T want Lu Linqi, an innocent woman who only liked wielding swords and guns, to know too much. So Lu Feng said, "Okay, a spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold, don't talk about these things now, go to bed." There was no words for the whole night. Early the next morning, Since Lu Linqi had married Lu Feng, Wei Su no longer stayed in the Dragon Kingdom for a long time, but hurriedly returned to the Wolf Kingdom. After returning to the Wolf Kingdom, Wei Su told Lu Buletin the news that he escorted Lu Linqi and nearly died when he encountered an assassin from the Feng Kingdom at the border of Jizhu and Bingzhou. When Lu Buletin learned about it, he was furious and immediately ordered to send 8 strong generals to lead an army to support Hedong County and attack Feng Akuo's army to avenge Lu Linqi. At the same time, in order to deal a major blow to the Feng Kingdom, Lu Buletin decided to transfer Zhang Liao, who was guarding the northeast of Bingzhou to defend the Dragon Kingdom, back as commander-in-chief. After all, in the Wolf Kingdom, only General Zhang Liao has the ability to command, and Lu Buletin also knows this very well. However, Chen Gong stopped him and said, "Your Majesty, although our country has formed an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom, we cannot guarantee that the Dragon Kingdom will not stab you in the back, so we have to be on guard." At this time, Wei Su's eyes showed a complicated change. Then he gritted his teeth and came out of the crowd, asking the Wolf Emperor Lu Buletin for orders to go to Bingzhou to take over Zhang Liao's defense against the Dragon Kingdom army. Regarding Wei Su's request, a trace of doubt flashed in Chen Gong's eyes, but he didn't think much about it. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 285. Wei Su said to Lu Buletin, "Your Majesty, General Zhang Liao's commanding ability is second to none in the Wolf Kingdom. Apart from him, I can't think of anyone else who can stop the allied forces of Feng Kingdom and Liang Kingdom. Therefore, I want to resist the 2 countries. A joint attack requires great generals. As for the Dragon Kingdom, the Dragon Emperor has just formed an alliance with our country, and there is also a marriage relationship. If the Dragon Emperor still uses troops against our country at this time, I am afraid that he will not be able to stop the world. Therefore, the possibility of them sending troops is not high, and being careful about them sending troops is just a precaution. I think there is no need to waste the talents of a general for such an unlikely factor. Although I am not as good as a general, I can defend Yuzhu soldiers and horses. I think I am still capable of the task. Even if the Dragon Emperor sends troops brazenly regardless of the friendship of the alliance, I am confident that I will fight to the death before His Majesty's reinforcements arrive and prevent the Dragon Kingdom's army from entering our Wolf Kingdom." Lu Buletin listened to Wei Su's words. I feel that what he said makes sense. Lu Buletin naturally knows Zhang Liao's commanding talents very well. If he is still allowed to guard the northeast of Bingzhou at this time, it will be a waste of talents. As for Wei Su, although he is much worse than Zhang Liao, as he said, the Dragon Kingdom may not use troops against the Wolf Kingdom, and once the Dragon Kingdom really sends troops, Lu Buletin himself will immediately lead an army to support him. After considering all possibilities, Lu Buletin agreed to Wei Su's request and sent him to the northeast of Bingzhou to replace Zhang Liao, and transfer Zhang Liao to Hedong to command the entire army to resist the coalition forces of Liang and Feng. What Wei Su said was indeed reasonable. The reason why Chen Gong was confused was because of Wei Su's sudden change. Although Chen Gong did not follow Lu Buletin when he debuted, he had assisted Lu Buletin for more than 2 years, which was enough for him to understand the abilities of each general under Lu Buletin's command. Under Lu Buletin, Wei Su was not among the top 3 in terms of ability. Not to mention Zhang Liao, even Gao Shun and Zhang Bie were far from being comparable to Wei Su. Not only is his ability mediocre, but he also has obvious shortcomings as a person. Such as being greedy for profit, being timid and fearful of getting into trouble, and being irresponsible. Not only that, he was not self-aware. He always felt that just by virtue of his relationship with Lu Buletin, he could rank first among Lu Buletin's men, and he suppressed Zhang Liao, Gao Shun and others as much as possible. Because of this, Chen Gong was very surprised when Wei Su took the initiative to take on the defense work in the northeastern part of Bingzhou and praised Zhang Liao. However, this was indeed a time of life and death for the Wolf Kingdom, and what Wei Su said was true. Therefore, although Chen Gong was confused, he only thought that Wei Su also recognized the crisis at this time, so he didn't think much about it. In the afternoon of the same day, Wei Su took Lu Buletin's order to Yanmen County in the northeast of Bingzhou to take over from Zhang Liao's defense of Zhao Yun's troops in Yuzhou. Although Zhang Liao had always been at odds with Wei Su because of Wei Su's exclusion, at this crisis and with Lu Buletin's edict, he did not hesitate to hand over to Wei Su and headed to Hedong. Guarding the northeastern part of Bingzhou is a sinecure. Although it is necessary to defend Zhao Yun from invading at any time, with the alliance between the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom, the possibility of Zhao Yun attacking Bingzhou is almost gone. Therefore, resisting Liang and Feng's attacks on Hedong is what really needs to be concentrated on. Compared with the other generals under Lu Buletin, Zhang Liao does have abilities that are enough for him to assume the position of general. Even though Zhang Liao is still very young today and has not reached the height of the historical Battle of Xiaoyajin where 800 men defeated Sun Quan's 100,000 army, his combat style of calmness and cool-headedness has been formed. Not only that, Zhang Liao himself was both civil and military. Not only was he proficient in swords and horses, but he was also well read in military literature. He was able to flexibly use various tactical formations and had a strong ability to adapt to changes. Therefore, after Zhang Liao arrived in Hedong County, the war situation in the Wolf Kingdom immediately improved. Because Zhang Liao went to Hedong County secretly, Liang and Feng states did not know about it, and they still attacked Hedong with their original warriors. However, after Zhang Liao arrived and took over the position of commander, he ordered the Wolf Kingdom's army to show weakness to the enemy for consecutive days. After a brief battle with the two coalition forces, they retreated directly. Precisely because of the 2 consecutive days of easy victory, coupled with the unstoppable advance into the Wolf Country, the two coalition forces thought that the Wolf Country had completely lost its combat effectiveness, and therefore relaxed their vigilance against them. In fact, during this period, Zhang Liao had been sending a large number of scouts to inquire for information and observe the enemy's movements. When he learned that the defenses of the two coalition forces had relaxed, he selected 800 elite cavalry the next night to quietly attack the camps of Feng and Liang. That night, it happened to be dark and windy, and it was hard to see even one's fingers. However, Zhang Liao and other 800 soldiers from the Wolf Kingdom also had their horses wrapped around their hooves and silently attacked the enemy. After several days of great victories, the two coalition forces did not expect that the wolves would attack at night, so even the soldiers patrolling at night fell into a deep sleep. The 800 cavalrymen saw the opportunity and rushed into the enemy camp. Zhang Liao took the lead in waving his long sword and charged towards the enemy commander's Chinese tent. When the coalition forces of the two countries were awakened by the shouts of being killed, they discovered that a raging fire had been ignited in their camp at some point, and there were cries and cries everywhere. In the panic, they didn't even have time to put on their armor, so they took out their weapons and charged at the Wolf Kingdom's cavalry under the orders of the corps commander and chief. However, the improvised army in panic was no match for the well-prepared warriors of the Wolf Kingdom. The 800 cavalry charged only twice and completely dispersed the coalition forces. With Zhang Liao successfully defeating the coalition commander, the coalition forces of Feng and Liang were defeated overnight. After this battle, Zhang Liao not only defended Hedong County, but also defeated the Fengakuo and Liangguo coalition forces with lightning speed and drove them out of Hedong County. At the same time, the Dragon Kingdom, which was allied with the Wolf Kingdom, also took action. After enjoying the second wedding night in his life, Dragon Emperor Lu Feng also began to mobilize troops and generals to support the Wolf Kingdom. Since the Wolf Kingdom's army had stabilized its position under Zhang Liao's command, Lu Feng left the main battlefield to the Wolf Kingdom. In order to reduce losses, he decided to adopt a strategy of surrounding Wei and rescuing Zhao. Lu Feng first sent Ma Chao to lead his headquarters 3,000 Dragon City cavalry, plus 30,000 Dragon Kingdom troops southward to enter the Wei army in Jizhu, and sent troops from Wei County to attack Feng Kingdom's Hanoi County. When Hanoi County was besieged, Yuan Shao would find a way to send a large army to come back for reinforcements, and Zhang Liao would be able to lead his army to follow Feng Guo's army and attack. At the same time, Dian Wei was ordered to lead Longwu soldiers and 30,000 troops into Wei County, attack Yanzhou East County from Wei County, and prevent the Yanzhou army from supporting Hanoi County. In addition, Lu Feng ordered Tai Shisai to lead Long archers and an army of 30,000 to attack Suzhou to prevent the Wei army in Suzhou from supporting or take the opportunity to annex Yanzhou. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 286. Zhang Liao led the army of the Wolf State to drive the allied forces of the Feng State and Liang State out of Hedong County, and firmly defended Hedong, preventing the enemy from going any further. At the same time, Ma Chao ordered the 30,000 Dragon Kingdom army to move quickly on their own, and he personally led the 3,000 Dragon City Cavalry as the vanguard army to attack Hanoi County. The 3,000 Dragon City Cavalry were all heavy cavalry, and the heavy armor on the soldiers and horses was reduced in weight by the armor casters after the transfer. In addition, the war horses were also super war horses produced at the Goguryeo racecourse, so the marching speed was extremely fast. In just one day, Ma Chao led the soldiers of the Dragon City Cavalry to Hanoi County. Although the Feng Kingdom is fighting against the Wolf Kingdom, because the war has always been at an advantage and the main battlefield is also within the Wolf Kingdom, the defenders in the Feng Kingdom do not have much defense. Therefore, when Ma Chao led the Dragon City Cavalry to Bingjiao County in Hanoi County, Bingjiao County did not look like it was during the battle. Even the city gates were not closed, and people could still enter and exit the county freely. Such a lax defense gave Ma Chao an opportunity. He immediately ordered the army to advance at full speed and directly enter Bingjiao County to prevent the defenders in the city from reacting and closing the city gate. Ma Chao quickly rushed towards Bingjiao County with 3,000 Dragon City Cavalry. The defenders in the city did not send out scouts to investigate. Suddenly, a defender on the city wall felt that his feet were shaking, so he asked his companion, "Do you feel that the ground beneath your feet is shaking?" The companion said in surprise, "You feel it too? I thought I drank too much last night and I haven't a Euro trademark tea woken up yet. Could it be that there a Euro trademark s going to be an earthquake? We have to get down quickly." He was about to run away when the person who spoke earlier said, "Wait a minute. Did you hear that there seemed to be a rumbling sound?" The man listened carefully for a while, and then said, "It seems to be the sound of thunder. It's strange. It's obviously a sunny day, how can there be thunder?" At this time, first the defender who spoke said, "The sound seems to be getting louder and louder. Ah, look over there, what is that? It seems to be a group of cavalry." When he said this, his face was filled with disbelief. As if he had seen something ghostly, even his tone of voice changed. Hearing his fear-filled words, several surrounding defenders couldn't help but look at where he was pointing, but were shocked to find that a group of cavalry not far away was moving in their direction at an extremely fast speed. And it seemed that the number of cavalry in this team was right, at least around 3,000. They were responsible for the vibrations on the ground and the rumbling thunder. Several people stared blankly for a moment, and suddenly one person reacted and shouted loudly, "Enemy attack! Enemy attack!" He yelled and ran quickly down the city, preparing to notify the defenders at the city gate to close the city gate. Because of the angle, the soldiers below the city could not see the cavalry in the distance in time, so they could not know immediately that there was an enemy attack and could only rely on reminders from the defenders on the city. The soldiers' reaction instantly alerted everyone in the city who was still watching, and they quickly ran down the city wall. Some of them ran to report to the county magistrate, while others ran to the equipment warehouse to prepare tools for defending the city. Even though the response of the Pingzhou County defenders could be said to be very rapid, they faced the Dragon City Iron Cavalry, the King's Division, which was capable of the 7th level of troops, and it was the Dragon City Iron Cavalry under the command of Ma Chao. Seeing that the Pingzhou County defenders had discovered him and started to take action, Ma Chao immediately used his military skills to charge with cavalry. The moment the skill was released, the speed of Ma Chao and the 3,000 Dragon City cavalry led by him was instantly increased, and with the continuous charge, the speed became faster and faster. Finally, in a few breaths, the Dragon City cavalry arrived at the foot of Pingzhou County. The Pingzhou County defenders, who had the opportunity to close the city gate in time, were startled by the sudden acceleration of the Dragon City cavalry, and even forgot what they were doing. They have never seen such a fast cavalry. Even the famous horse Red Rabbit horse may not be able to run a distance of more than 10 miles in an instant. But before they could figure it out, Ma Chao, who was taking the lead, had already waved the tiger-headed golden gun in his hand and stabbed all the defenders to death who were about to close the door with several clicks. Then the army entered the city, and the 3,000 Dragon City cavalry were divided into hundreds of small teams. Each team had 20 people. They would kill the defenders in the city without hesitation when they saw them. Ma Chao personally led 3 teams to attack the county magistrate's house. The magistrate of Pingzhou County, who received the report from the defenders, had just gone out to command his men to meet the enemy, but unexpectedly the enemy troops had already rushed to the door of his home. Especially after seeing clearly the costumes of the pair of cavalry, he instantly knew that this troop was the famous Dragon City cavalry under Dragon Emperor Lu Feng. The magistrate of Pingzhou County immediately lost all resistance and surrendered on the spot. With the surrender of the Pingzhou County magistrate, the entire Pingzhou County fell completely into Ma Chao's control. Ma Chao then moved non-stop to fight in Shanyang, Wen County, and other places. After the arrival of 30,000 troops, he assembled all his troops to attack Huai County, the county seat of Hanoi County, with an unstoppable force. With the defeat of Huai County, the entire Hanoi County was declared lost. Ma Chao's army rested for a while in Huai County and then marched to Yin, Henan. At the same time, Dian Wei, the general in the west of Longguo town, also used the same method to attack Dongjun in Yanzhou, and went all the way south to attack Shenliu County. Unlike Ma Chao, whose main combat force is the cavalry of the Dragon City Iron Cavalry, Dian Wei's main force, the Dragon Warrior, is the best infantry in the world, so siege warfare is easier for him. After capturing Shenliu County, the entire Feng Kingdom had realized that the Dragon Kingdom was powerful and began to shrink its defense in a targeted manner. Especially Henan Yin, who faced the Dragon City cavalry, gathered heavy troops to resist Ma Chao. Faced with such a heavy defense, and the Dragon City cavalry was unable to play a role in the siege battle, Ma Chao's 30,000 infantrymen also found it difficult to gain an advantage in the siege battle. Therefore, Dian Wei left his army to guard the junction of Shenliu County and Henan Yin, while he led the Longwu soldiers to the west to assist Ma Chao in attacking Henan Yin. At the same time, Zhang Liao, the general of the Wolf Kingdom, also led 100,000 wolf army from Hedong County after repelling the coalition forces of Liang Kingdom and Feng Kingdom, and attacked Henan Yin together with Ma Chao and Dian Wei. Facing the coalition forces of the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom, Henan Yin was already on the verge of collapse. Yuan Shao hurriedly ordered the Feng Kingdom troops who had retreated from Hedong County to return to Henan Yin's aid. But what made Yuan Shao angry and horrified was that at this critical moment, the Feng Kingdom's ally Liang Kingdom suddenly turned back and defeated the 50,000 Feng army that was preparing to return with the thunderbolt. Even Wu Sun Ce sent General Huang Gai to join with his army, forming a four-nation coalition and surrounding Luoyang. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 287. The reason why Sun Ce joined the coalition forces of Long State, Liang State, and Wolf State to attack Feng State was precisely because of Zhou Yu's suggestion. After learning about the marriage between the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom, Zhou Yu once asserted that the alliance between the Feng Kingdom and the Liang Kingdom was definitely no match for the Dragon Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom. As the Dragon Kingdom joined the battle, the situation reversed instantly. Not only did Feng Kingdom lose consecutive battles, but Hanoi County and Dongjun and Zhenliu County in Yanzhou were also defeated by Dragon Kingdom generals Ma Chao and Dian Wei. Immediately afterwards, Wu's spies reported back that Liang had torn up its alliance with Feng, defeated 50,000 Feng troops with lightning speed, and stormed Hungnan County with force, targeting Yin in Henan. After Wu State's Prime Minister Zhou Yu learned the news, he said to Wu Emperor Sun Ce, Your Majesty, judging from the current situation, the alliance between Liang State and Feng State has been a conspiracy from the beginning. The eldest son of Emperor Ma Teng of Liang State, it was Ma Chao, the commander of the Dragon City Cavalry who defeated Hanoi County. Moreover, Ma Chao was not only the commander of the Dragon City Cavalry, but also a disciple of the Dragon Emperor Lu Feng. With Ma Chao's relationship, Ma Chao must have been secretly involved with Lu Feng for a long time. An alliance was formed. The Feng Kingdom and the Wolf Kingdom were originally allies to resist the Dragon Kingdom, but the Feng Kingdom suddenly formed an alliance with the Liang Kingdom to counterattack the Wolf Kingdom, which was obviously instigated by the Liang Kingdom. At this time, the three armies of the Liang Kingdom, the Dragon Kingdom, and the Wolf Kingdom were besieging the country at the same time. Henan Yin and Yuan Shao may not be able to save themselves no matter how many troops they have. What's more, with the national strength of the Feng Kingdom, even a Dragon Kingdom cannot defeat it. Now that the three kingdoms have joined forces, he will surely perish soon. Sun Ce heard this. After listening to Zhou Yu's words, a smile appeared on his face, and he said the reason why my father had enmity with Lu Biao back then was because of Yuan Shao. If Yuan Shao hadn't informed Lu Biao about my father's possession of the Jade Seal and asked Lu Biao to send troops to intercept it, Xiu Mao would not have died, and my father would not have enmity with Lu Biao. In this way, there would not have been the result that my father was ambushed and killed by Huang Ziyu. Therefore, although Lu Biao and Huang Ziyu were the direct murderers of my father, he has been killed by me, but the ultimate murderer is Yuan Shao, and his death is not far away now. After listening to Sun Ce's words, Zhou Yu suggested to Sun Ce, in this case, why doesn't your majesty send troops to join the crusade against Yuan Shao? Now the Feng Kingdom will be destroyed. If our country can send troops to join the team that destroys the Feng Kingdom, it will not only be able to avenge Uncle Sun, but also share the Feng Kingdom's territory and troops with the other three countries after the war. Wouldn't it be killing two birds with one stone? Sun Ce listened. After hearing Zhou Yu's plan, he thought about it briefly and said, Gong Jin's plan is very clever, so let's do it like this. Come, tell the old General Huang Gai to come see me. When the guards went down to tell Huang Gai, Zhou Yu said old General Huang Gai has been on the battlefield for a long time and is familiar with the art of war. If he leads the troops north, he will definitely be able to attack Yin, Henan together with the three kingdoms of Long, Lang and Liang, and destroy Yuan Shao in one fell swoop. But except for Luoyang, in addition, Yuan Shao also occupies the entire land of Yanzhou. If Feng Kingdom is destroyed, Yanzhou will also become an unowned land. We should also capture it to increase our strength. Please send your majesty, old General Han Dang, as the commander-in-chief to lead the troops to attack Yanzhou. I believe that our country is definitely not the only one to attack Yanzhou, so when you and other countries unite their forces, they will be able to successfully capture Yanzhou. After capturing Yanzhou, our army can negotiate with other countries and take the opportunity to carve up the territory of Feng Kingdom. Sun Ce listened to Zhou Yu. If so, he naturally nodded in agreement and ordered Huang Gai and Han Dang to lead their troops respectively and act in accordance with Zhou Yu's plan. the defenders of Henan were already crumbling under the siege of Long State, Wolf State, and Liang State. With the addition of Huang Gai, the allied forces of the four nations besieged and defeated Henan, and besieged Luoyang. Luoyang was besieged by the allied forces of the four kingdoms. Tianfeng, Zhu Shao, and others who stayed in Yanzhou were naturally shocked. Their emperor Yuan Shao of Feng State still stayed in Luoyang. Moreover, because Tianfeng and Zhushu prevented Yuan Shao from forming an alliance with Liang, they were sent to Yanzhou in anger by Yuan Shao. Therefore, the only counselors under Yuan Shao at this time were Feng Ji and Guo Tu. The two men had outstanding abilities in internal fighting, but not much real ability. Tianfeng and Zheshao were desperate and suggested that Yan Liang lead the Yanzhou army to support Luoyang, while they stayed in Yanzhou to defend. Yan Liang was also worried about Yuan Shao's situation, so he did not refuse any more, leaving 50,000 troops to assist Tianfeng and Zheshu in defending the city, and he went to Luoyang with 50,000 troops. As Yuan Shao's most powerful general, Yan Liang has also reached the level of a super general. He is confident enough to enter Luoyang and rescue Yuan Shao. However, Yan Liang's thoughts are very beautiful, but the reality is very cruel. As soon as the 50,000 reinforcements he led arrived at Zhenliu County, they were stopped by the 30,000 Dragon Kingdom army led by Dian Wei, who stayed in Zhenliu. Even though Yan Liang was highly skilled in martial arts, no one in the Long Kingdom's army at Zhenliu could defeat Yan Liang. However, they stood firm at Zhenliu and refused to give way, making it impossible for Yan Liang to enter Henan in a short period of time. As the Yanzhou reinforcements were blocked outside Zhenliu County, Yuan Shao, who was besieged by the allied forces of the four nations in the Luoyang Palace, became increasingly upset. Even the morale of the Luoyang defenders began to weaken. At this time, Luoyang was besieged on all sides. Zhang Liao led an army of 100,000 wolves to attack the north gate of Luoyang, Pang De led an army of 100,000 Liang to attack the west gate, Ma Chao led Longcheng cavalry and an army of 30,000 dragons to attack the east gate, and Huang Gai led an army of 100,000 Wu to attack the south gate. A total of 330,000 troops from Long, Liang, Lang and Wu surrounded the entire Luoyang, not counting the 3,000 dragon soldiers led by Dian Wei. Dian Wei's 3,000 dragon soldiers did not join the siege army, but stayed outside Luoyang city waiting for an opportunity, because everyone knew that Yuan Shao was surrounded in the city and would not sit still and wait for death. He will definitely choose to break out, and the route of the breakout must be all the way east, because Yanzhou is just east of Luoyang. As long as they break out eastward, they will definitely be able to join Yanzhou's reinforcements and even escape to Yanzhou. What Dian Wei had to do was to stop Yuan Shao as soon as he sent troops to break through. In fact, just as Dian Wei and others expected, after waiting for Yan Liang's reinforcements for several days with no results, Yuan Shao really couldn't sit still. He sent Wenzhou, the former general of Feng State, as the vanguard and led the army to break out from the east gate. In order to hide his identity, he pretended to be an ordinary cavalryman and mingled with the army. Yuan Shao originally thought that with Wen Chu's force and the fact that the Dragon Kingdom army at the east gate only had 30,000 men, he would be able to easily break through Ma Chao's defense. But he ignored Ma Chao's force. Although Wenzhou is a super general, although Ma Chao is young, after this period of fighting, he has already broken through to the realm of super general. The two of them fought back and forth for hundreds of rounds. At this time, Dian Wei led the Longwu soldiers to arrive and joined forces with the Longcheng cavalry to surround and kill the Feng army. When Zhou saw that he could not break out of the encirclement in a short time, so he prepared to retreat. Unexpectedly, as soon as he was distracted, Ma Chao shot him through the heart. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 288. It stands to reason that Wenzhou and Ma Chao are both super generals, and Wenzhou has been in the ranks of super generals for many years, while Ma Chao has only recently entered the early stages of the ranks of super generals. Even if Wen Zhou loses to Ma Chao, he will not be killed by Ma Chao so easily. But the situation at that time was indeed too chaotic. When Dian Wei discovered that Wen Zhou had led the army to break through from the East Gate, he led the Longwu soldiers to join the Longcheng Iron Cavalry and massacre the Fengyuo's breakout army. The Dragon City Iron Cavalry is a 7th level unit, and the Feng Kingdom army cannot resist it. Coupled with the Dragon soldiers, who are also a 7th level unit, the Feng Kingdom army is completely unable to fight back. Moreover, after Long Wuzu arrived at the battlefield, he conveniently used the crossbow in his hand to shoot indiscriminately at the Fengyuo's breaking army. With the power of Long Wuzu's crossbow, one crossbow arrow was enough to penetrate the bodies of 3 Fengyuo soldiers. So almost in an instant, more than half of Fengyuo's army that broke through was killed or injured. After Wen Zhou fought Ma Chao for more than 100 rounds, he suddenly discovered that almost all of the troops he brought out were wiped out. Since Yuan Shao was still among the remaining troops, Wen Zhou was worried that Yuan Shao would be lost, so he had to find a way to lead Yuan Shao back to Luoyang City to find another opportunity to break out. But at the moment when he hesitated, Ma Chao seized the opportunity and used the most powerful and fastest move among the Ma family's marksmanship passed down from General Fubo Ma Yuan. The spear pierced Wen Chu's armor like a dragon emerging from its cave, and plunged into his heart. Ma Chao succeeded with one blow and did not stop. Then he twisted his hands holding the tiger-headed golden gun hard, smashing Wen Chu's heart into a ball of minced meat. Wen Zhou just glanced back at Yuan Shao and felt a pain in his chest. When he lowered his head, he saw that it was Ma Chao's spear that had penetrated his body. Following the movement of Ma Chao's hand, Wen Zhou spurted out a large mouthful of blood. Then his consciousness gradually blurred, his vision went dark, and he fell off his horse. Yuan Shao from behind saw his current number 1 general Wen Zhou stabbed to death by Ma Chao, who was only a teenager, and was immediately frightened to death. Knowing that there was no hope of breaking out of the siege, he hurriedly fled back to Luoyang City with the remaining dozens of dead soldiers who stayed close to protect him. When Dian Wei saw that the Fengyuo army that had broken out of the encirclement was completely wiped out, he joined forces with Ma Chao and attacked the east gate of Luoyang together. As the east gate of Luoyang was breached, all the Luoyang defenders knew that Feng Emperor Yuan Shao failed to break through. The morale of the army was instantly in chaos, and the defense lost its fighting spirit. As a result, the North Gate, West Gate, and South Gate were successively attacked by the armies of Lang, Wu and Liang. For a time, the allied forces of the 4 countries entered Luoyang City at the same time, frightening the people of Luoyang so much that even if they were hiding at home, they were worried that they would be captured and massacred by the enemy troops who invaded the city. For a moment, all the people remembered the tragedy of Dongzhou's burning of Luoyang a few years ago. It seemed that the tragic scenes were about to be staged again before their eyes. Fortunately, the 4-nation coalition forces that entered Luoyang were not cruel and unscrupulous people like Dongzhou. Whether it was Pang De, the commander of the Liang Kingdom, Zhang Liao, the commander of the Wolf Kingdom, Huang Gai, the commander of the Wu Kingdom, or Dian Wei and Ma Chao, the 2 commanders of the Dragon Kingdom, they were all people who cared about the people and were strict in running the army. They invaded Luoyang only to capture Yuan Shao, and never thought about massacring the city or harassing the people in the city. Therefore, the allied forces of the 4 nations did not commit any crime against the people of Luoyang, Chu, and went straight to the Fengyuo Palace. Yuan Shao established the Feng Kingdom and established its capital in Luoyang. One of his purposes was to occupy the palace in Luoyang. In addition to saving him the trouble of building a palace himself, it was also because the palace in Luoyang was the palace of the Han dynasty. In Yuan Shao's eyes, even though the Han dynasty had been destroyed, he still believed that occupying the imperial palace of the Han emperor was equivalent to occupying the orthodoxy after serving as a Han minister for nearly 10 years. Although Dongzhou set fire to Luoyang City when he moved the capital to Chang'an with Emperor Xian of the Han dynasty, the Luoyang Palace itself had certain measures to set fire because of the skill of the craftsmen who built it. In addition, more than a dozen princes rushed to Luoyang to rescue it in time, so the damage to the Luoyang Palace was not too great. Yuan Shao could continue to use it by simply repairing and renovating it. At this time, the allied forces of the four nations almost killed all the Feng Kingdom defenders in Luoyang City and went directly to the palace. Rivers of blood were already flowing along the way. At this time, Yuan Shao already knew that he was destined to be doomed. He recalled that he was born in the Yuan family in Runan. Because of his background and talent, he had been praised by the world since he was a child. Looking at the current scene, he couldn't help but feel sad. However, as the emperor of Feng Kingdom, Yuan Shao still retained the pride of being the proud son of the top family of the Eastern Han dynasty. He knew that even if he was not killed, he would be imprisoned for the rest of his life. It is better to die generously than to endure humiliation and burden. So Yuan Shao took out the poisonous wine he had prepared long ago, and waited for the commander of the four-nation alliance to come in and express his hatred to them. Not long after, Ma Chao, Pang De, Zhang Liao, Huang Gai and Dian Wei all appeared in the Luoyang Palace. Yuan Shaojao sat on the throne, holding a wine glass, looking at the people who came in, and said with a self-deprecating smile, "I miss you, the fourth and third prince of the Yuan family in Runan. I have disciples and former officials all over the world, but I don't want to end up like this. She yet. Life." After finishing speaking, he looked at Pang De again and said remorsefully, "It's a shame that I didn't listen to Zhu Su and Tianfeng's words and insisted on forming an alliance with the Liang Kingdom. I was really dancing with wolves. I regret it." Ah! After saying that, Yuan Shao picked up the wine glass, raised his head and drank the poisonous wine in the glass. He looked up to the sky and laughed and said, "Ha ha 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 ha, Lu Buletin, Ma Tang, you will form an alliance with the Dragon Kingdom. It will end well. I will take a step first and wait for you below, waiting to see how you are played by Lu Feng and finally die of regret." After Yuan Shao finished speaking, almost black words kept pouring out of his mouth. Of blood, and soon he collapsed in the dragon chair. He died of poison. After Yuan Shao died, his three sons Yuan Tan, Yuan 11 and Yuan Shang naturally could not escape the siege of Zhang Liao and others, and they were all killed one after another. At this point, Feng Kingdom, one of the 8 kingdoms, was the first to perish. After destroying Yuan Shao, the 4 countries prepared to carve up Sizhou again. After some bargaining, the Wolf State occupied Hanoi County and the northern part of Henan Yin, the Liang Kingdom occupied Hongnan County and the western part of Henan Yin, and the Wu Kingdom occupied the southern part of Henan Yin. As for the Dragon Kingdom, long before Ma Chao and Dian Wei set out, Lu Feng told them that they did not need to fight with the Wolf Kingdom and other countries to lose the watermelon and pick up the sesame seeds, but that they should attack Yanzhou as soon as possible. Therefore, the Dragon Kingdom gave up the carve-up of Salai, and instead let Ma Chao and Dian Wei lead the army into Yanzhou and fight against Yanzhou together with other Dragon Kingdom troops. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 289. Originally, the state of Wu also wanted to increase its troops to attack Yanzhou and divide Yanzhou with the Dragon State. However, what Sun Ce did not expect was that at this time, the state of Wei and the state of Shu allied with an army of 300,000 to attack the state of Wu. Sun Ce was shocked and angry at this. What was shocking was that he did not expect that Shu, which had always been content in the southwest and had no enmity with him, would join forces with Wei and suddenly send such a large force to attack him. What makes him angry is that Cao was one of the murderers of Sun Jian. Before Sun Ce could seek revenge from him, he actually took the lead in uniting with Shu to attack him. In desperation, Sun Ce had to give up his plan to attack Yanzhou, transfer Han Dang back to Yizhou, and concentrate his forces to deal with the 300,000 coalition forces of Wei and Shu. At the same time, Feng Emperor Yuan Shao was killed, and news of the Feng kingdom's destruction spread throughout the world. The Yanzhou defenders who learned the news were immediately panicked and helpless. In desperation, Tianfeng and Zheshao had no choice but to transfer Yan Liang's army, which was trapped outside Shenliu County, back to Yanzhou and concentrate their efforts to resist the Long Kingdom's army. Yan Liang, who returned to Yanzhou, had long lost the high spirits he had when he first set out. He remembered that before he set out, Tianfeng and Zheshao had warned him not to underestimate the Dragon Kingdom's army, but he did not listen. Yan Liang believed that he was highly skilled in martial arts and had already joined the ranks of super generals. Even though the Yuan family had disciples and former officials all over the world and had countless fierce generals under his command, he was still the #1 general of the Yuan family. It was precisely because of Yuan Shao's importance and trust in Yan Liang that Yan Liang gradually became proud and despised Tianfeng and Zheshao, who were ignored by Yuan Shao and sent to Yanzhou. Therefore, the more the two men warned him that the Dragon Kingdom's army was powerful and should not be underestimated, the more disdainful he became, thinking that they were simply trying to make others' ambitions destroy his own prestige. Because of this, before Yan Liang set out, he only regarded himself as a force supporting Luoyang and did not prepare any siege tools at all, so he was blocked by the Dragon Kingdom's army in Chenliu. Faced with Chenliu, who was unable to attack for a long time, Yan Liang had to order the army to quickly search for materials and make ladders and other siege equipment on site. This also delayed the fighter plane, causing Yuan Shao to commit suicide in Luoyang when he was isolated and helpless. Yan Liang, who knew that he had a heavy responsibility, no longer had the pride of the past. He thought of the past achievements of Tianfeng and Zhu Shao, and felt more and more that they were talented, so he obeyed their advice. However, it was obviously too late at this time. Without the support of Luoyang, the remaining Feng Kingdom army in Yanzhou was already isolated and helpless. Even if Tianfeng and Zhu Suo had great strategies, they were unable to save their lives. In desperation, Tianfeng and Zheshao had no choice but to order Yan Liang to take the remaining 100,000 Yanzhou troops to abandon the surrounding counties and shrink all their forces in Puiyang, the east county of Yanzhou, to fight to the death with the Dragon Kingdom. Ma Chao and Dian Wei led the Dragon City cavalry and Longwu soldiers and arrived outside Puiyang city with a total of 60,000 Dragon army troops. Yan Liang also led an army of 100,000 people to form an array outside the city, facing Dian Wei and Ma Sheyao. At this time, Yan Liang had already learned from the Fengakuo soldiers who fled Luoyang to Yanzhou that his good brother Wenzhou was killed by the young man Ma Chao riding a white horse in front of him. Therefore, as soon as he saw Ma Chao, Yan Liang became furious and gave an order to lead the 100,000 Yanzhou army to attack the Long Kingdom troops. Seeing Yan Liang unable to control his emotions and taking the initiative to attack, Zhu Shuo and Tianfeng in the city shook their heads helplessly. Although they knew that Yan Liang was a super general, among the two generals of the Dragon Kingdom, Ma Chao, who was only a teenager, had amazing strength. Wenzhou died in his hands. Even if he couldn't defeat Yan Liang, he would never be easily defeated. Kill. As for the other person, seeing that he looked burly, standing there like a black tower, and holding two iron halberds, Tianfeng and Zheshao knew that this person must be Dian Wei, Lu Feng's #1 general. Although Dian Wei did not appear much on the battlefields of the Central Plains, in the eyes of the foreigners, Dian Wei was the #1 killer under Lu Feng's account, and the foreigners were no less afraid of Dian Wei than Lu Feng. In addition, when Lu Feng first met Dian Wei, he saw Dian Wei chasing a tiger across a stream alone, which is enough to show that Dian Wei's bravery must not be inferior to Ma Chao. Therefore, the two of them were very worried about Yan Liang's safety. On the other side, Dian Wei saw Yan Liang rushing towards Ma Chao, so he smiled and said to Ma Chao Mengqi, "You also know that I, Lao Dian, Am a martial arts idiot and like to fight against people with strong martial arts. Since when Joe is I will die in your hands. This time, don't fight Yan Liang with your brother. Let me meet him. Ma Chao Zhou would not refuse Dian Wei's request. After all, although Dian Wei looks fierce, he is honest and upright. His popularity in the Dragon Kingdom is still very good. So Ma Chao responded and took the Dragon City cavalry, Longwu soldiers and the Dragon Kingdom army to bypass Yan Liang and fight with the Yanzhou army. When Yan Liang saw that Ma Chao was not fighting with him, he thought he was afraid of him, so he shouted arrogantly, Ma Chao, I'll stop running. You know you are afraid now. What were you thinking when you killed Wen Chu's brother? Hurry up, dismount and die. However, Yan Liang chased Ma Chao and didn't take him seriously at all. Dian Wei suddenly shouted angrily, and then yelled, Yan Liang, your opponent is here, eat me, Lao Dianyi halberd. After Dian Wei finished speaking, he jumped up from his horse and jumped towards Yan Liang. Yan Liang heard Dian Wei's roar, and then felt a murderous aura coming from his left side. He hurriedly turned around and found that Dian Wei was already waving his halberds in the air and striking at him. So Yan Liang hurriedly raised his sword to block it, but he didn't expect that a huge force poured down from the opponent's halberds. His hands were completely unable to hold the force, and he let go of the sword in an instant, and he flew out. Yan Liang was knocked off his horse by Dian Wei's blow, and the sword flew to nowhere. He hurriedly got up from the ground, only to find that his hands were shaking and he no longer had the strength to lift them up. Moreover, the jaws of both hands were split open and blood was flowing. However, Dian Wei did not stop, but continued to move forward, holding the halberd in his left hand and slashing downwards from above. Although Yan Liang was injured, his reaction was quick and he immediately dodged. Unexpectedly, Dian Wei had already guessed his intention, and slashed horizontally with the iron halberd in his right hand, just in time to cut off Yan Liang's head. Then Dian Wei took Yan Liang's head and rode back on the horse, shouting loudly, Yan Liang is dead, and those who surrender will not be killed. When the officers and soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom saw Dian Wei killing Yan Liang with 2 moves, their morale was immediately boosted, and he shouted loudly, Yan Liang is dead, and those who surrender will not be killed. Yan Liang is dead, and those who surrender will not be killed. When the Yanzhou army saw that their general was killed, they immediately lost their will to fight and knelt down to surrender. Tianfeng and Zheshu on the city looked at each other, and for the sake of the people of Yanzhou, they had no choice but to surrender. 3 Kingdoms, I have a job transfer palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 290. As Zheshu and Tianfeng led the people of Yanzhou to surrender, the entire Yanzhou was divided into the territory of the Dragon Kingdom. However, the Wu state, which was originally planning to attack Yanzhou together with the Dragon state and divide Yanzhou equally, was now being jointly attacked by the 2 powerful states of Wei and Shu. If Shu and Wei can unite and attack a place together, Wu will rely on Sun Ce's prowess and the assistance of counselors such as Zhou Yu and Lu Su, as well as generals such as Huang Gai, Cheng Piyu, and Han Dang. I can barely withstand it. However, the Shu kingdom was far away in Sichuan, while the Wei kingdom was located in the south of the Yangtze River. The 2 countries jointly attacked, but their troops were divided into 2 groups. The Shu kingdom sent General Guan Yu as commander, and was assisted by Prime Minister Jia Su himself. The army left Yizhu and entered Jingzhou to attack Nanyang County. On the Wei side, Cao sent Xia Hedun as the commander-in-chief, with Cao Ren as his deputy, and with Cheng Yu as the military advisor. He set out from Suzhou to attack the Yuzhou kingdom. Such an east and west movement greatly dispersed Wu's military strength, making Wu's army instantly passive. Faced with such a dilemma, Sun Sezhu and Lu Su, the 2 great counselors under his command, came and told their plans Gong Jin and Zai Jing. I didn't expect that Cao would join forces with Liu Bei to attack our country. Now our country has been severely hit on both the east and west sides. The situation is critical and must be taken measures, otherwise the Wu state will follow the footsteps of the Feng state and may be in danger of subjugation. However, because the Shu state attacked Nanyang and the Wei state attacked Pei state, our army could not concentrate its forces to stop them in the east and west, and could only divide them into two routes. However, there are not many people in our country who have the ability to lead an army as a commander. Apart from me, only Gong Jin can take on this important task. Therefore, I decided to personally lead an army to Nanyang. To resist Guan Yu's army, as for Wei Guoziahedun's army, I will leave it to you two, Gong Jin and Zai Jing, to resist. When Zhou Yu and Lu Su heard Sun Ce's words, they were shocked. Zhou Yu hurriedly advised, Your Majesty, you can't. Although the kingdom of Shu only sent 50,000 troops to attack Nanyang, the man who led the troops was the General Guan Yu of the kingdom of Shu. This man had become famous all over the world when the 19th Prince's allied forces attacked Dongzhou. He was in Ziliang in front of Hulao Pass. The General Huasiong showed off his ferocity and killed several generals of the alliance army. When all the princes of the alliance army were helpless, Guan Yu stepped forward to challenge Huasiong as a horse archer, and beheaded Huasiong in 2 moves. Get off your horse. Cao personally poured him a bowl of hot wine before he went to battle. When he came back, the wine was still warm. After this incident came out, Guan Yu warmed the wine and killed Huasiong, which became known to the world. Although Your Majesty is brave, he has a king's spear skills. It is true that there are few enemies, but Guan Yu has entered the realm of super generals, and Your Majesty may not be his opponent. Lu Su also advised from the side, Your Majesty, what Gong Jin said is very reasonable, not to mention Guan Yu. How about martial arts? According to reports from spies, the military advisor accompanying the Shu kingdom is Prime Minister Jia Su. This Jia Su is an old fox who hides his secrets. In order to avenge Emperor Xian, Wang Yun once gathered the troops of the court and wanted to call on the princes of the world. They drove Li Ju, Guosi, and other Ziliang remnants to death. As a result, it was Jia Su who came up with the plan and asked Li Ju and Li Ju to counterattack Luoyang and gather the remaining Ziliang troops along the way. When they finally arrived in Luoyang, Li Ju gathered an army of 200,000. Successfully eliminated Wang Yun and occupied Sizhou. Then Lu Buletin, Yuan Shao, and Ma Teng attacked Sizhou at the same time, and Jia Su suggested that Li Ju abandon Sizhou and join Yuan Shu. After Yuan Shu became emperor and was eliminated, Jia Su secretly assisted Zhang Xiu, and used a trick to bring all the Ziliang army under Zhang Xiu's command, and took Zhang Xiu to Yizhou. He also used a trick to get rid of Lu Yan and Lu Zhang in Yizhou, and helped Liu Bei become the shepherd of Yizhou and establish the Shu kingdom. This person, his strategy is far-reaching, he has a good grasp of people's hearts, and he is good at making strange plans. If Your Majesty were to conquer it personally, I'm afraid he would suffer a loss. In response to Zhou Yu and Lu Su's persuasion, Sun Ce seemed very determined and said, whether it is Guan Yu or Jia Su, I know them no less than you two. But no matter how powerful they are, they really can't retreat. Now that our country is besieged by the Liang kingdom, the morale of the soldiers has been severely affected. It is at this time when the morale of the military is unstable, I will take charge of it. Expedition in person can boost the morale of the army and improve morale, so I must go. Seeing Sun Ce's determination, Lu Su persuaded again, if Your Majesty insists on expedition in person, I can't stop it, but please let Su go with Your Majesty. Nanyang. Although Su knew that he might not be Jia Su's opponent in terms of strategy, he could at least give His Majesty some suggestions and help him analyze and make decisions. Regarding Lu Su's proposal, Sun Ce still refused. I accept Zai Jing's good intentions, but compared to Shu, Wei is the biggest enemy of our army. Wei state not only sent Ziahedun, Cao Ren, Chen Yu, and others, but also 11's he might secretly make suggestions, so the task of defending Pei State would be more difficult. Zijing should rest assured and guard the east together with Gong Jin. As for the Shu kingdom, don't worry, I will naturally deal with it carefully. Zhou Yu and Lu Su saw that Sun Ce had made up his mind, so they had no choice but to agree. That day, Sun Ce ordered his troops and horses to go to Nanyang to resist the Shu army's attack. However, before leaving, Sun Ce suddenly felt uneasy. So he came to see him off. In front of Zhou Yu and Lu Su, he said to them, Gong Jin, Zijing, we have known each other for many years. If something unexpected happens to me this time, please take my son family members and leave Yuzhou. My father and Dragon Emperor Lu Feng have joined forces many times to face the enemy, and they have some friendship, so I ask you two to take my family north to join the Dragon Emperor. Seeing that Sun Ce had already announced his funeral arrangements in advance, Zhou Yu felt depressed. Just when he was about to speak again, Sun Ce had already turned around, mounted his horse and left. Xie Su, who was attacking Nanyang, had already learned from the scouts' report that the invincible Sun Ce Yujia was personally marching. Leading the army was about to arrive in Nanyang. So Jie Su said to Guan Yu, General, Sun Ce is good at martial arts. Although he is not as good as the general, our army is not as powerful as Wu. If the war is stalemate, it will be detrimental to our army. So when Sun Ce led his army to arrive, he asked the general to fake defeat and retreat to the southwest. Su would arrange an ambush on both sides of the hillside 10 miles away to kill Sun Ce. It is true that if you shoot the man first, shoot the horse, and to capture the thief first capture the king. As long as Sun Ce is killed, our army can easily defeat and capture Yuzhou. Although Guan Yu is arrogant, Jie Su has already conquered Guan Yu with his ability and resourcefulness, so Guan Yu naturally followed his advice. After Sun Ce led his army to Nanyang, the Shu army was just out of reach of the Wu army. Within a quarter of an hour, they retreated under Guan Yu's order. Sun Ce saw that his arrival had greatly boosted the morale of the Wu army, so he did not doubt his presence and immediately ordered a pursuit. As expected, he was ambushed and was shot randomly by archers on the hillsides on both sides. Shoot to death.